Let's see. You are live. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Today is May 1st. Oh my goodness. We are in the month of May. Already. Already. It is May 1st in the year 2025. What a blessing. What a blessing to be alive this morning. What a blessing. It is a blessing and a privilege to be alive this morning. Good morning, Mimi, Miss Monica, to you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is May 1st. Can you honestly believe that it is May 1st already? April came and then it's like, it's a memory now. It is a memory now. And I thank God for grace and mercy, brought us from January 1st to May 1st. Look at God. Look at God. And I must apologize and ask for forgiveness for yesterday because I just could not open my eyes yesterday. I could not wake up. And I had I promised myself that I would go to bed no later than 10 o'clock. I would start going to bed no later than 10, so I could get at least 6 good hours of sleep because through the night I'm always waking up. And when I wake up and then I'm just up. But the night before, I didn't go to bed until maybe, I don't know, watching TV. And I'm gonna watch a little bit more, then I'm gonna turn the TV off. And then when I turn the TV off, I pick up the phone to play a game or something like that to put me to sleep. And then when I look at the time, it's about 3, 4 o'clock. And I'm saying, okay, I'm just gonna lay here till about 6 o'clock. I'm gonna lay here for 2 hours and then I'm gonna wake up. That wasn't happening. That was not happening. And yesterday seemed like sleep just covered me yesterday, and I just had to sleep until I got that sleep up off of me. But I thank God for grace and mercy, and I thank you. I thank people for understanding. I was just sleepy. I was just sleepy. So I said, from now on, I'm going to go to bed at a decent time, and if I can, take naps take a nap maybe an hour or two during the day. I always set my alarm for maybe 2 hours just to get the proper rest. It's kind of chilly here this morning, but it feels good because I know it's going to be another scorcher today. So, how are you, Miss Mimi? What is going on in your world? Just gonna wait a few minutes to see if one or two more people gonna join. If not, you and I could just have this conversation and they can catch up whenever they come. When they come, I'm not gonna say if they come. When they come, if they catch the repeat, it's okay with me. As long as you hit that like and share button, and if you just happen upon this channel, strolling, and this channel just pop up and you're inquisitive, aka nosy, hit that like and share and subscribe if you have not subscribed. Yesterday, I we're getting ready to have, this is the month of the tea party, y'all. The tea party. So, Mimi, every year for the last 4 years, we have been having a tea party. And the tea party was conceived on the hope of bridging the generation gap between the older women in church and the younger women in church, and especially our teenagers. So this was birthed 4 years ago. This was, birthed during the right before the pandemic. And we were getting ready to we were talking about what can we do to bring the younger people and the older people together, because as older women, we're supposed to teach the young women. We're supposed to teach them. So how do we do that? How do we do that? Because some old people they forget that they were young and some of the things that they did, and nobody was born. Nobody. I don't care what people say or how they try to act. Nobody was born perfect. Nobody was born perfect. It say we were born in sin and shaped in iniquity. So if God said it, then it must be true. And it was like somebody said, well, let's just have a tea party. So we getting ready to have a tea party. And our first tea party we had to do it on Zoom because of the pandemic. And that first tea party was like we were on Zoom and everybody, some got dressed. I didn't. And we had our different tea, and we were showing each other the type of tea, and we were talking about the type of teas that we were having. And so when the pandemic was over and we could go back into church, we could go back outside, we could be outside and church. And then the next year came around. We're going to have another tea party. Our first tea party, we couldn't be together. So our second tea party, we had it at a clubhouse it was small and intimate, but it was nice. However, it was nice. And to see the young ladies get all into it with their fascinators and their hats and their fascinators and their gloves and the pearls, it was really, really nice. So after we finished cleaning up, one of the ladies said, you know what, we should have this every year. I said, you know what, that is a good idea. And so the third year, which was last year, we decided to have an annual tea party every May after Mother's Day. So this is our fourth annual tea party. So I'm doing the decoration. So my living room right now is full of decorations for the tea party. Flowers and feathers and all kind of stuff. So we're doing a Bridgerton theme, hence the feathers. So we're doing a Bridgerton theme. And yesterday I was going through all the stuff, getting all the garland and, for the tables all set up, and realized we didn't order any tablecloths. And I was wondering where are the tablecloths? We didn't order any tablecloths. And we ordered a banner with two black ladies in it. In the picture, the banner was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. When I opened up that pack to see that banner, it was horrible. It was hideous. And we can't use that. So I'm not going to use trying to get all of that stuff together as an excuse. I'm not going to even try to justify why I wasn't on yesterday. However, however, starting today, it's going to be in beast mode until the 16th, because we'll be decorating up the hall the 16th for the tea party. But anyway, I went to last night. Yeah, it is beautiful. Good morning, Shanice. It's beautiful, and just to see all those people, all those women, and what's so beautiful about it, we always talk about the tea party, but the men are going to be catering to the women for the tea party. They will be serving the women, the pastor and the deacons, and and one thing I love about my pastor is my pastor don't mind getting his hand. He don't just he just don't throw out orders. He's part of what's going on as well. He's part of what's going on as well. He's the first one on that front line to go out and, help serve. So every time we always announce this in church, we always, we sometimes we overlook that fact, but, giving the men their flowers and giving them their due, what's due to them. They're there for us at all turns. They are there for us. And I'm getting excited. But this was good morning, Ev. Good morning, Guta. Good morning, Shanice. Good morning, Mildred. Good morning. And I'm getting so excited because last year, this time, I was so anxious because I had something to prove to myself about decorating this tea party, and it was so many things that was going on last year, and a lot of those things that was going on was against me. And but I thank God for grace and mercy. I thank God for them two cousins, Grace and Mercy. That Grace and Mercy did not leave the building. I thank God that He had me covered during that time. And I thank God for my friend, Miss Patricia Kelty. And I honestly call her my friend because there's not many people that I call friends because she kept me grounded. She held me accountable when I wanted to go off, and when I did go off, and every word came out of my mouth was a curse word because I was so upset because people were coming for me, and people were thinking and they were doubting that I could do what I had in my mind to do. And she would ground me and she would pull me aside. Sometimes she would tell me, come here, come here, come here. And I'm saying, what? She said, look, I'm gonna help you get this done. It's gonna be the way that you want it to be. So that all that other stuff, you calm your behind down. You know better than that. Now let's get this in together. Now, what you want to do? What you want to do? And everything that I was telling her how I wanted this tea party, if we didn't order it, she already had it, or she knew someone that had it. And that tea party was beautiful. That's all they could talk about when they walked in. Oh, this is so beautiful. This is so nice. Oh, this is so cozy. This is so intimate. So yesterday when I went to church, right? And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something. When you're on that right frequency with God, when you connected and rooted with God, when you like that tree that 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 David talk about in the book of Psalms that's planted right there by the river, you're gonna always get nutrients. You're gonna always get fed, right? Long as that river has water and that water keep flowing. But once that river dry up, your roots they are so embedded into the ground that you still can survive a little. You still can survive a little bit. And so this time, y'all, I'm going into this tea party with a different mindset. And yesterday I was sitting down, me and my friend, we were on the phone, we were talking about she said, I broke one of the vases, girl. She said, but I'm not gonna worry about it. She said, I started to go. I said, this year we're not coming in our pockets with nothing. We're not spending any of our money on anything. So she said, two of my vases broke, girl, but one of my vases broke, but I know why. And I looked at it when I put it when I put it in the tote, I knew something might happen to it, and something happened to it. So that's why I said, when we know better, we do better, and there's power, there's life and death in the tongue. So when you put things out there in that atmosphere, it seems to it happen, right? So we were talking yesterday. She broke a vase, and she said, well, and something said, that box that you left at church Sunday, it seemed mighty small. Where are the tablecloths at? And then when I did unpack the garland, didn't have enough garland for the centerpiece. And I said, oh my God, what is we gonna do? Then and I'm worried about everything. She only worried about the tablecloth. And because it's a Bridgerton theme, and Bridgerton was so over the top with their decorations, and it was so ornate, so the tablecloth was a perfect tablecloth. And Timu, they the flowers that we wanted, they're not in stock anymore, so we had to go a different route. But see, that depends, when things come up, and it comes up as a surprise, and it hits you in your face, and the first thing we do, sometimes we get all bent out of shape. Not to say that I didn't want to get bent out of shape, but I was in church yesterday because I went to what I thought was going to be midweek service, turned out to be Bible study. So when I asked her, I said, did you order any tablecloths? She said, no, because you told me not to. And I don't know how I looked when she said that, because I'm saying, no, I didn't tell you. No, I didn't. I don't think I told you not to order tablecloths. I think I said the gold tablecloths that had the lace was too much. And I said, I don't think I said, just go with the other tablecloth. I said, those are pretty. And I asked her a question. I said, can you put a round tablecloth? Because the tablecloths that I really wanted, when I looked at it before I told her to put it in the cart and order it, I didn't, I just looked at the picture and they were so pretty and it was exactly what I wanted. But it was for a round table. So I said, could you put a round tablecloth on a square table? She said, no, I don't think so. I said, well, then we ain't got to worry about that. So that's where the miscommunication came in. And I'm in church and I'm sitting there. And so I text my friend. I said, this woman done forgot the damn tablecloth. And so I said, Lord, I'm in church. And I had to get myself together because see, when something is going on with me, it shows. When I'm I don't like to say upset, but when I'm upset, I don't like to say it, but it shows on my face, and I'm trying to get to a place where it just don't show on my face. But I wasn't upset. I was just disappointed because everything was going so good, and I thought then it came to me. Your attitude determines your latitude. So with the attitude that you're trying to display right now, nothing is going to work. It's nothing that's going to help. It's going to put both of y'all in a space. And so my friend said she was coming to church that night. So she didn't come now. I got another attitude because girl, you ain't come to church. I needed you to be in church. So we talked last night when I had got home and we talked and and I was telling her, I said, then I got pissed off because you didn't come to church last night. She said, well, girl, when you had told me about them tablecloth, there wasn't no need of me coming to church. Because, see, if I came to church, both of us would have been pissed off sitting up in church. But see, I'm going to tell you how God works. So she said, well, um, the head of the ministry said, well, the pastor's wife, Lady Teresa, she said, well, what we can do, we can stay after church. I said, no, we can't stay after church. I don't have my car and I'm getting the ride. She said, well, we could FaceTime and I said, we could get it done. We could get it done. And you know what, y'all? We got it done last night. We ordered more. We ordered more garland for our table, for our centerpieces, some blue and white roses, a garland, and we ordered our tablecloths. So I said all of that to say this: when things come against you suddenly, your attitude determines how everything turns out. Yeah, you get frustrated, you get pissed off for a minute, for just a minute. And then, being frustrated and pissed off wouldn't have did not a thing. It would not have done a thing, for me to get frustrated because, stuff happens. Miscommunication. It happens. When it happened, what you do with it and how you do it makes a big difference. So last night, we were on when after church and I got home and she got home and I had my friend was on the phone while she was talking when she had called. And so then after she and I got off the phone, my friend called and she said, well, what happened? I said, we ordered it. It's just that simple. She said, you was worried about the garland, the centerpieces. I was worried about them damn tablecloths. That's all I was worried about was the tablecloth. So now we have some beautiful antique gold tablecloths. And the tablecloth is the focal point of everything because they're gold, they're antique sort of gold with the blue and the white roses with the little pink um woven in, and we got the feathers, we got the blue and white, like the blue feathers that turn it. The feathers are beautiful. They're blue and they're sky blue and white. And then we have the white feathers. It is going to be beautiful. And I'm gonna tell you, last year, this time I was so nervous because I did not know what I was doing and I didn't know how I was going to get it done. But I thank God for God being God. And I know He said in His word, I never leave you, nor forsake me. So God didn't leave me, and God just kept giving me ideas, And me and my friend, we was bouncing ideas off of each other. And it was just a beautiful sight to behold. It was a beautiful sight to behold. So last night, we were in and I'm telling y'all, I was a little disappointed because I had talked to my granddaughter, And I understand. I really understand. She's graduating from high school. She's graduating from high school May 19th. So there's a lot going on for her this month. Had award ceremony last night. It's just a lot. It's winding down, but still a lot is going on. So I text her and I asked, oh, because her mom says she's not going to be able to go to the tea party. So I said, well, let me ask Jordan, because her mama don't know nothing. She got to ask Jordan. So I text her and she was saying, well, my friend is having a graduation party and this, that, and the other. And I said, okay. And so I texted back. I said, okay, good. You're not going. So she texted me back. She said, I'm sorry now. And I said, hey, it's no problem, because I understand this is your senior year. And after this month and maybe next month, some of your friends you won't see again, because you're going to school in Atlanta. No, and most of her friends are going away to colleges, and they are going to HBCU, and that is the most powerful thing. And I love it, and I don't want her to miss nothing that's going on with her senior year. Being with her friends, and then she still rehearsing for. And then the play that she's in, Hairspray, it starts the day of the tea party. So there's a lot of rehearsing going on, and then the opening, and she's going, I don't know how she's going to do it, but she already know how she's going to do it. So that ain't my business, and I'm going to stay out of that. But I get it. Because and I was a little disappointed, because the tea party has always been our thing. It was our thing that we've spent time together. So and I understand that it's probably going to be less and less and less, but who knows? It might not be what I think it's going to be. So, I'm cool with it. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I am okay with it. So, hello everybody. Good morning, Auntie. That's right up my alley too. LOL. I planned so many weddings and worked a lot of events. I can't wait to see how it goes. And I'm going to take pictures. I'm going to post it, and last year I tried to go live with it, but it's something for me now. I understand it's something personal, and and it was so beautiful to see last year all those women and all those young ladies. It was just something beautiful to behold. And last year they didn't print out about like 100. They printed out 200 tickets. 200 tickets, and 150 tickets were sold. So it was full. It was so nice. It was so nice. And it had a church feel. It was we was praising God, we was thanking God, and the speaker, she spoke real nice. And we had the girl who's over the dance, the dance ministry. She performed at Amber. I love to see her praise dance. I love to see the praise dance. I love to see her praise dance and the things that she comes up with. So last night, all of that with what happened about not getting the tablecloths, and didn't order enough this, and didn't get bent out of shape about it. Did not get bent out of shape about it, because it wouldn't have solved anything, and it would have caused hard feelings. Would have caused hard feelings, because I know me and she know me, and I know her and she know her. So it turned out good. So that's why when I was talking the other day about expectations, and you know what, I'm gonna tell you something. And last night we were talking about gentleness in Bible study. So we were in Bible study, and we were talking about gentleness, coming out of First Thessalonians 2. Yeah, first First Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 1 through 12. We were talking about gentleness. And gentleness and meekness go together. So when you're gentle and when you're meek, I don't know why people think you weak. But see, they don't know that gangster that you used to be in the inside. They don't know that gangster still there. The people don't understand, like, that old nature. It's still there. It's still there, but you choose to exhibit it in a different way. You choose to exhibit it in a different way. So I said, you know what? That's what I'm gonna talk about this morning. Being gentle, being compassionate. Because in my first read, I'm gonna tell y'all, in my first reading, in the Charles Stanley devotional, and I love, if you haven't ordered these yet, I know AKA ordered this, and I love it. I love it. And one of the young ladies in my church who's over the single ministry, she sent me these little quotes, and I said, "Oh, you know what, Joanne? I have in touch. I get that every month, and it has it has like little nice articles in it, but it gives you something every day just to." Just to encourage you along the day. And this morning, it's talking about it's talking about what we already done talked about. And when I saw it, y'all, when I broke the seal and I opened it up yesterday, and I was looking at it, and it says the source of hope. The source of hope. And I said, now look at God. Look at God. Because I had just talked about hope the other day. And I didn't even look in this book. I didn't look in this book or anything, because right now it's so many people feeling hopeless. But we still got to keep the hope alive. And I'm gonna give you an illustration, because I know. No, I can't say I know, because I don't know. I can only imagine. In my sanctified mind, I can only imagine. Let's take this Shadur Sanders thing. Good morning. Just came to say good morning to everyone getting ready for a doctor's appointment. Thank you for being here and just dropping in and hitting that like and share button for me, aka. And I pray that whatever news the doctor tell you, whichever way it go, that you be able, that God gives you strength. And just because of what's going on, that don't mean it's going on now. That don't mean it's going to always going on. So we're going to pray for you as you go to the doctor today. We're going to keep you uplifted in our prayers today, that all is well, all is well. And if not, all is on the way to getting well. So we're going to just plead the blood of Jesus over you today. Going to plead the blood of Jesus over you today, and whatever time that is that you go into the office to see the doctor this morning. I'm just praying. I will be praying every hour on the hour, because I don't know what time. So I'm gonna pray healing, a miraculous, supernatural healing in the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus, I pray that all is well, and I pray and I plead the blood of Jesus over you and what area of your body that needs to be healed. And it is done, it is well within my soul. Amen. And was talking about hope. And when I read this morning, I said, well, that's what I said. This is some of the same things that I said. And it said hope can be defined as the expectation and desire for something good. And Jesus is the greatest source of hope. He alone always knows what's best and has the power to secure its fulfillment. That's why I say never run out of hope. Never run out of hope, because when you run out of hope, you become hopeless, and it's detrimental to you, to us, when we give up. Giving up is giving up to me is like being hopeless. You don't see no way out. There's no way out of this. I don't see a way out. But everything that you enter, there's always a out. Everything that's began, there's always an ending to anything and everything. If something is started, there's an ending to it. You might not see the end game, but there's an ending to it. And it's going to come at some point, it's going to come to an end. And in the meantime, in between time, until it comes to that end, don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. And Shanice, giving up is not an option. It is not an option. And I feel like at the very moment that you give up, whoop, there it is. What you've been waiting for, what you've been looking for, what you've been expecting is going to happen. That blessing that you've been praying for the last 6 months. And the day you said, you know what, I'm just tired now. I'm tired and I just give up. It ain't happened, so it mean it ain't gonna happen. Just because it's not in our timing does not mean it's not gonna happen. Because our timing is not God timing. God do things when He get ready. And when God get ready to do something, it's right on time. When God get ready to drop it, it could be right there at that last split second, and you not ready and you don't have it, but then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you get a phone call, you get a text, and you get a message that you got mail. You got mail. And you look everything that you wanted and needed and hoped for right there. But you got to hold on for a little while longer. And when I read that, I said, you know what? I know I'm on the right track now. I know I am going in the right direction because I promise y'all, I did not read this. I did not read this the day that I was talking about hope. I did not read this. I had the book on my desk and my desk was a mess. And I had to look for the book. I had to look for the book. And yesterday I was cleaning my desk and I said, oh, there it is. And I did not open it because it was yesterday was April 30th. So I didn't open my book. I didn't open the book until this morning. And I was looking for the book and I said, oh, there it is right there. And when I did wake up, there it is, there it was right there in my face. So this morning, the gentleness and listening. When we pray to God, and it was in the daily bread. This is a good devotional as well. The daily bread. I like this one as well. And this morning it says listening for God's voice. And sometimes it be so much noise going on in our head and so much noise surrounding us, we don't hear that still voice that is God giving us the instructions, giving us what it is that we need, giving us the encouragement, giving us that pep talk that we need. We don't hear that still voice because we're so deep in our own thoughts and we're so inquisitive, or do I dare say we're so nosy that we let what's going on around us fill our heads up and fill our thoughts up. Then we can't listen to God. We can't hear God. A lady in my church right now, I'm gonna call a friend because we were good friends and the friendship took a hit, but now I see it's getting back together. She had to have surgery on her foot. I didn't know she had to have surgery. I heard somebody, so I called her and I texted her to see how she was doing. And she came to church last Sunday, and I'm telling her, you know, I know you want to be here, but you can either watch it on Facebook or something like that because you know you need to stay off that foot. If the doctor told you to rest, sit your behind down and rest. And so, I just made up in my mind, I'm not going to wait on somebody to come to me. And when God put it on my spirit, when God whispered in my ear and tell me, okay, you know what to do. You know what to do. So I knew what to do. So I do my best to encourage her every morning. She texts me every morning since we start by talking a good morning. And I try to encourage her because when her husband leave to go to work, when her daughter leave to go to work, go to school, and her son leaves to go to work, she's home by herself all day. And when it's like that, God has put that together. God brought all of that together. It may not seem like it, but good is going to come out of it. She's going to have a closer relationship with God. She's going to have a better understanding of who she is on this walk, this Christian journey. She's going to get a better understanding of who she is. And then she's going to be able to commune with God, just sitting and having commune, having talks with God. and even crying sometimes, even feeling sorry sometimes. But I guarantee you, when this is over, it's going to be for her good and for the glory of God, and the testimony that she's going to have to say, even in her bleakest hour, God was there, and God walked her through that, and He brought her through that. He never left her, nor did He forsake her. And so we were talking about gentleness yesterday and last night in Bible study. And Pastor was asking, one of the questions was, what was it? Mm-mm-mm. Okay. It by in particular ways. In what particular way can we encourage, comfort, and urge people to live life worthy of God? So I didn't have a chance to go to the library to print this out, right? So I didn't know what the question was. But I'm gonna tell you what I did Sunday in Sunday school. Um and the Sunday school lesson was about a tree and its fruit. A tree and its fruit. So a question was asked, and and the way I answered the question was, when you have made up in your mind, and God has touched your heart, and He's touched your spirit, and He's given you you have become, and you are becoming a new creature in Christ, right? And you all that old stuff you used to do, the old way you used to talk, you don't talk that way no more. The way you used to walk, you don't walk that way no more. You looked at your hands, they were new, and you looked at the feet, and they were new too. You're a new creator. You're a new creature in Christ now. Put away all that old stuff, all the cursing, all the fighting, all the backbiting, all of that, the gossiping, all of that. Put all of that away. You doing it. I'm just going to use me an example. And I'm doing it for me. I made a conscious decision about a lot of things. And I'm just doing it. It's not for nobody but me. But when you have made up in your mind that you decide, okay, I want to change in my life. Because remember, if nothing change, nothing changes. If you don't change, ain't nothing gonna change. Ain't no need of you trying to talk about, oh, I wish this and I wish that. But if you keep on doing the same thing, you're gonna keep on getting the same results. So if you change the way you do things, things are gonna begin to change. So the attitude, everything is gonna change. So because as I say, the attitude determines the latitude. The attitude determines how far you go or how low you get. So I said, when when there's a change taking place within you, you're the first to know. Because you'll say, you know what, I could remember a time I would have slapped the taste out of her mouth. Or I remember a time I would have cussed her cold blooded out. I remember a time I would have bust her in the head to the white meat. I remember we could always remember a time when. We can always remember a time when. And so I said this, I say sometimes when people are changing, they're changing for themselves and other people see it. But some people don't want to admit that that person, even acknowledge that that person is changing. You're not doing it for the acknowledgement. You're just doing, that you're doing it for the better of you. And it's not that you care if they don't acknowledge it, but it's some people see it and won't acknowledge it, and some people will see it and they will acknowledge it. And the ones who don't acknowledge it, it's not you. It's not you. It's that goodness in you. That's that change in you that they don't want to acknowledge. They want to keep you stuck like they're stuck. And I said that in Bible study. So last night, we were talking about how do we exhort other people. do we keep it to how do we keep it to ourselves? And I like to encourage people. I like to go to a person, just me and them, and hold their hand and look at them in the eye and tell them, I think you're doing a magnificent job. And I like the direction that you're going in now. And I like you where you are now. And I encourage you to continue on that, because that's a good look. That's a good look. That's good what you're doing. So he said, well, Marita, give me an example how you would um exhort someone. And so I was saying, he said, just pick somebody. And I always pick the same person, because I can't get over how nice Deacon Walker, young man, young family man, young professional family man, God filled, God led man. And I admire him so much. I really do. And and I was saying, well, I'll do Deacon Walker because he's nice. He said, no, 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 no. He said, you tell him. And I looked at, and I've told him this so many times. And I said, I thank you for being the person that you are. I said, because I feel like you are a God-led man, a God-filled and God-led man. And I like the way that you encourage. You are an encourager, because I don't know if when I'm feeling down sometime in church, he'll come to me and he'll just lean. He says, Sister, you okay? You want to talk about it? And then he'll say, Sister Marita, I thank you. I thank you so much, Sister Marita, because you always come and tell me, he said, I want to just thank you. And I say, for what? He said, think about it. He said, I just want to thank you. And I said, okay. So after church last night, the young lady that's over the ministry, the singles ministry, she said, Miss Marita, while we were sitting here and Pastor was talking, and you were talking about to Deacon Walker, she said, and when you had said what you said Sunday in church, she said, I thought about that a lot. And she said, I just want to tell you, I see your growth. I see how you change so much. She said, I see a difference in you. And she said, keep that up. She said, because I know you love God and I know God loves you. And I know that, she said, when I look at you now, I see you different. She said, I see you different now. And she said, just keep going the way that you're going. And I remember right after we had this concert, and we were at this church after we had our service, we were at this other church, and the pastor and I was sitting down, and the pastor came up to me. He said, Marita, I just want to tell you, keep doing what you're doing. And I said, what I'm doing? Because he said, Marita, come here. So I said, oh God, what I done did now, what I done said now. No, I said, what? I said, what, Pastor? What I done did now? He said, ain't what you did. He said, it's what you're doing. And I want you to keep doing. He said, keep doing what you're doing. I said, what am I doing? He said, you don't even have an idea of what I'm talking about. I said, no, I don't have an idea what you're talking about. He said, keep doing it then. Keep doing it. And when you have made a conscious decision to change, to take a chance, to walk out on faith, to change your attitude, to just change your way of life, the way you eat, the way you carry yourself, the way you talk, people are going to see that. And some people are going to accept it, and some people are not. And the people that don't accept it, they're the ones that's stuck. Them the ones that stuck in how you used to be. Them the ones who stuck in how you used to talk. See, because now that you're talking different, you're not talking the same language that they're talking, and you don't have that same behavior that you used to have, that they still have. You don't have that anymore. That's offensive to them, because now you think you better than everybody. Now, no, I don't think I'm better than everybody. I think I am getting better than I used to be. I don't compete against anybody. I compete against myself. This is May 1st. And all the things that I didn't do correctly in April, those are the things that I working on now. The things that I'm working on now. And I guarantee, and I'm telling y'all, since I could not resurrect Ruby, since Ruby could not be resurrected, I just have a total different outlook. I just have a total different outlook. And now I gotta believe God more. I gotta take God at His word more. When God said, "I never leave you and not forsake me," you know the doctor appointments that you got to go to. You know the dentist appointments, and you know what when you got to go and do whatever it is that you got to do. And Ruby's not downstairs no more. Don't worry about it. I got you. I got you. And I saw a car yesterday. It's in Lehigh. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful little PT Cruiser, right? And I always wanted one of those cars because I thought they were cute. And you know, I when I was a little girl, I used to read the Dick Tracy comic when on Sundays. Read when I used to read the comics, and it was the Dick Tracy series. He had a PT Cruiser, and I said that's a cute little car. That's a cute. And my mom has one. She always wanted them cars. No, no. Did she had a P2 Cruiser? Or did she have a little car like that? Well, no, she had that little car that looked like a shoe, looked like Herman Monster shoe. I don't know why I call that the shoe car. But anyway, it's one of those little Kias. It's a cute little car. It's cute for my mom. But that when I seen that PT Cruiser and I saw it on Facebook Marketplace, right? And they just want to get rid of the car. It's a nice, I think it's a 2018, and it's pretty. It's silver. The interior, clean interior, clean engine, and everything. And so I text and I ask, is this car still available? And y'all know what? I plead the blood of Jesus over that car. And if that's not the car for me, God will direct me somewhere. But that's what I have my eye on now. That is what I have my eye on now. And I thank God for grace and mercy. That car mine. I'm claiming that car. I am claiming that car. So, you know, and I thank God for just being able to listen, to hear, you know, His voice. And I thank God that I'm able to obey. And we were talking about gentleness, you know, a gentle word. It said, what is gentle? What is the meaning of gentle? To be mild and calm in behavior or action, carefully avoiding hard harshness or violence. And it's so easy to be harsh. It's so easy to be violent, but I choose not. I choose, and I don't care if people think, because you can think one thing, but knowing something is so totally different. So don't take my kindness, don't take my meekness for weakness, and don't take my kindness for something that you think you could walk all over. Because when I'm quiet, that's the time to get a little bit like, well, what's going on? She quiet, she ain't saying nothing. That means I'm plotting and I'm scheming. But however, I've learned that God say vengeance is mine, and I leave that up to God. See, because whatever I could do to you, it's just gonna only last a split second. So I'm gonna either end up in two places, in the hospital or jail. Because I'm coming for you. And I know you ain't gonna just stand there and let me come for you. So I choose to be, you know, I'm at a ripe old age now where it's just easier for me to say, you know, I'm gonna pray for you. I'm gonna pray for you. I'm gonna pray for you, and I'm gonna pray on you. And you have a good day. And let them know. Look, I'm walking away. I'm walking away because this add absolutely nothing to my life. Absolutely nothing does it add to my life, and that's where I am in my life right now. When something come like to knock me down, or something come like a strong wind come, and I'm being tossed like a boat to and fro, I'm still gonna be still. I am still going to be still. And since I have not had that car, since I that car is just a memory now. Ruby is just a memory now. She's a memory. And I have some good memories of Ruby. But I think there was a reason. I think it was a reason. I believe there was a reason behind God letting what happened happen the way that it happened on the day that it happened. On the day on a Easter Sunday. And you know what? I still enjoyed service. And for a split second, I did get worried. I did get scared. How I'm gonna do this? How I'm gonna do that? What's gonna happen now? I can't live but one day at a time. Today is the first. And I always like to go and get my money orders and stuff like that on the first. Make a phone call. I'm going to Publix today. I'm going to Walmart today. I don't know how, but I'm going. All I know is that I'm going because God done already made the way. God don't make no way. God is the way, and the way has already been made. I just got to make made up mind, and I'm listening. When God say, "Be still and don't worry about it," I'm being still and not worrying about it. But being still don't mean just sit there and don't do nothing. Faith is action. So with action, there's movement. There's something that we supposed to be doing, even in the midst of waiting. There's still something that we supposed to be doing. We're supposed to not to be giving up. We're supposed to be not being hopeless, but hopeful. You know, if there's a problem and you can solve it, solve it. But you're not doing it on your own. You're doing it by the grace and the might of God. If there's a problem that can't be solved right now, if there's a problem that cannot be solved right now, let me tell you, there's an answer to every solution, every math solution that can come in the mind of a mathematician. There's an answer for it. But you got to do some work getting to that answer. There's some things you got to write and erase and write again to get to the answer. So, in the process of waiting and being still, there's got to be some movement, some action. Waiting, it sounds kind of contradict. You want me to wait and you want me to be still, but you said there's something that I need to do. Yeah, you got to exercise that faith. You got to exercise that hope. So it's work in doing that. It's work in keeping faith. It's work because you got to open up that Bible, touch that Bible app. You got to listen. Regardless of all the noise that's going on around you, regardless of all the issues of life and the circumstances of life, all the isms and the schisms of life, you still got to be able to hear that still little voice. It's not nothing loud. It's nothing loud. It's that still voice that say, calm down, calm down, shut up, move over there, do this, do that. And when you be obedient to that calm voice, that's leading, that's the Holy Spirit leading you and guiding you and telling you it's time to stop the nonsense. It's time to stop the nonsense. And you know, we were talking about gentleness, and it was saying it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And then as I was reading on gentleness this morning, it said it is often in gentleness, it often involves a deliberate effort to be considerate and compassionate, particularly in how we interact with others. It and gentleness is a quality of character that demonstrates kindness, humility, and a gentle spirit, even in the face of adversity. It is not about being passive, but rather about exercising strength and control with compassion and understanding. And you know, my grandmother and my great grandmother always used to say, you can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. And see, I'm one of those people that you have to show me. You have to, I'm not from Missouri, but you have to show me. So, you know, being an only child, sometimes I used to get into so much trouble because I always say, why? Why? And then, you know, catching flies. I said, why would I want to catch flies? And, you know, it used to infuriate my grandma and my great grandma sometimes because I'm always asking, but why though? But why come? And and I had to see. And my grandma said, you know what? You're going to get enough of asking me why. And I always got to show you something. I'm finna show you something. So I remember being a little girl, I would get some molasses and pour it out on the floor. You know, put it out there on the porch and see what was gonna happen. And sure enough, you get the flies, you get the ants, but then you know, with the vinegar, ain't nothing happening with no vinegar. Ain't nothing happening with, ain't nothing gonna come there and touch that vinegar. So it's gentleness is deliberate. It's a deliberate um effort. And you have to be deliberate, deliberate, deliberate in everything we do. And your kindness and your understanding. And we got to learn how to be understanding. We got to learn how to be understanding. We really have to be, we have to learn how to be understanding until, because you don't know what a person is going through sometimes. You don't, and my pastor even said, that last night. He said, I had went to someone, and after I heard their story, I went to them and I said, I'll never look at you the way I looked at you again. He said, now that I understand everything, I would never do look at you that way again. And so before we judge, because we're such judgmental people, and we feel like we got the right to judge anybody and anything we want to. And in judging a person, we never get to know the person. We never even get to understand we don't even take the time out to understand, well, what makes that person, why is that person the way that they are? And if you just sit and just have a rational conversation with someone, and not going there to be nosy, just sit down and have a honest and open conversation with someone, and you'll see just how many similarities that you have that we do have with each other. Because I talked to this young lady, and we were talking, and she said, well, I'm an only child. I said, yeah, I'm an only child too. And so she began to tell me some things, and then I began to tell her something. She said, you know what? We're soulmates. She said, because we so much alike. And I always tell her, I said, you're the good part of me. I said, you're the better half. I said, when I introduce her to people, I say, this is my better half. Not that we gay or anything like that. She's the better version of who I could be. And, and she said, she's my other half. She said, because she's the way that I want to be. So we have something in common with each other if we just take the time out to get to know each other, not to find out something to go out there and gossip about or something to hold over each other's head. We need to take the time out to be compassionate with each other and to understand each other and ask the question, am I my sister's keeper? Am I my brother's keeper? Hell yeah. And I just told my friend that. And, she said, thank you so much for your encouragement. And I said, I am my sister's keeper. I supposed to be, when my sister is crying, I supposed to cry with my sister and uplift my sister and exhort my sister and encourage her and push her and extend a measure of mercy and a measure of grace. Why do I supposed to do that? Because if we truly look and took the time to look and understand, look how understanding God has been to me. How look and see how compassionate God has been to me. So what God do for me, I got to do it for someone else. If God say forgive, and me and God gonna have a little conversation, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna do what God say, because at the end of the day gonna end. So that means I got to be obedient. I'm a only, I ain't trying to justify, but I'm gonna be questioning God. But why? But God, you know what she said, right? You know what she did, right? You know that, right? Yeah, I know all that. But you know what you said, and you know what you did. I said, yeah, but it ain't no yeah, but I forgave you. So what make you you bigger than me? You're greater than me. I'm the one that created everything and all things. So you bigger than me, you greater than me, and you know more than me. No, that ain't what I'm saying, God. That ain't what I'm saying. But what is it that I don't know? I spoke everything into existence. I know the beginning before the beginning begun. So what is it that I don't know? I put the moon, the stars, the sun, and align all the planets the way that I wanted them to be. So what is it that I don't know? I parted the Red Sea. What is it that I don't know? What is it that I can't do? Then, after going through all of that, but I done learned how to not to question God. I have learned, and I am learning how not to question God. Just take God at his word. It is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. And just be satisfied with that. Be content with that. Be content with that. So I'm learning how to be gentle, and and I like encouraging people. And when I see, I can, I can feel, I can feel when a person is not themselves, or where they are not where they used to be, or they're not where they want to be. I can feel when somebody walk into church, and especially, I try to talk to everybody when I'm in church. Um, and some people that I'm closer to than others. And when they walk in church, and there's this look that they have, and and after church, or I text and say, "Are you okay?" And they say, "I'm all right." Then I wait till after Sunday school, and I say, I asked you, was you all right? And I said, we got to make it normal saying we're not okay when we're not okay. When you're not okay, you're not okay. I'm not saying dive into it, but ride it out. Because I was telling my friend, she was talking about she going through, she's having hot flashes going through the change. And I was telling her what this lady told me, because she saw how flushed I was getting one day at work. She said, "Don't fight it." She said, "Ride it out." She said, "Don't get nervous." She said, "Calm down." And I'm at work, and my face from here up, she said, "I can see." She said, "You going through, you having a power surge right now, aren't you?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Because my face had got beat red, and you could just," she said, "I could see it coming." She said, "What I want you to do," she said, "I want you to calm down." She said, "Calm down." She said, "Don't try to fight it, because it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen." She said, "Just ride it out." She said, "Ride it out." And going through menopause, you just have to, you have these moments where you cry. You have these moments when you're angry. You have these moments when you just need to go stand inside, just jump inside the freezer. You have all these different moments. Your hormones are all over the place, and you're all discombobulated, and you don't know what to do. When you don't know what to do about something, what do? You do what you know how to do. And if you don't know what to do, you consult someone, you go to the doctor and see what's going on. And sometimes they might put you on medication. I didn't get on medication when I was going through the change. I really did. I wrote it out. I took the cover off. What I did, I went and bought me two more fans, one for my head and one for my feet. And with the air conditioner, I couldn't just keep turning the air conditioner down on 70 and 69, because I was freezing my kids up. So I said, "You know what? I gotta compromise. I gotta do something, Lord." He said, "Go buy you some fans. Buy you some fans. Put you some cold water in the freezer. Have you some cold water laying beside you at night. Take you something to work, and rolled it out, rolled it out." But it was the way that you ride things out. It's the way that you do things, and we gotta be more. We got to be more compassionate and more understanding to each other. We got to be more where when something happening, y'all, these teeth just making me not comfortable. And I had to put my teeth in this morning to talk, right? We got to have more compassion towards each other. And we got to be more understanding towards each other. We got to read and see Google what the Bible says about gentleness, and what scripture says about gentleness. You can receive more by being meek and gentle than you can becoming bossy and entitled. And I was getting ready to tell you about Shadur Sanders, right? So, what happened to Shadur? They want to say he cocky and this and that and all. He's not cocky, he's confident. He's not arrogant, he's confident. And he has a father that's not, some would say it's arrogant, and some would say it's cockiness. Some would say it's all an ego. He got this big old ego. No, when you know who you are and you don't let other people define who you are, then they gonna try to chip away at your self-esteem. They're gonna try to chip away and chip away. And then that's what I think they tried to do to him. They tried to embarrass him, they tried to humiliate him because of who his dad is. We can't help who we born, what family we born into. We can't help who our mom is. We can't help who our dad, who our grandmother, who our grandfather. I ain't had nothing to do with that. Shadur didn't have anything to do with that. But see what they meant for bad, God done turned that thing around for good, and that's all they talking about. They ain't talking about the guy who was the first round pick. They're not talking about the second round pick. They're not talking about the third or the fifth round pick. Now he was somewhere in that first round. He was in that fifth round, and he was what, like the hundred and what I don't know, because it was so infuriating to me. Then I had to think about that thing, and I said, I know his spirit is crushed a little bit. However, God didn't say the weapon wouldn't form, the weapon wouldn't prosper. God said no weapon formed against you wouldn't prosper. He didn't say the weapon wouldn't form. He said the weapon wasn't going to prosper. Whatever they meant for bad, just like Joseph brothers, by selling him, and he had to go through everything that he had to go through, what they meant for bad, God turned that thing around for good. Them same brothers that meant him harm had to come and ask him for food. Had to ask him for food. Now, the same people who wanted to deny Shadur what they didn't give him on his contract, he gonna get it back tenfold. That money, the number one jersey, I don't and I like the Cleveland Brown colors. It's like brown and like rust or orange. I like them colors. They're fall colors. I ain't gonna spend no hell of a lot of money on no jersey, but I like them colors. And so I'm going to follow the Cleveland Browns this year simply because of Shadur. Simply because of Shadur. Because God said, I know the plans that I have for you. See, all them other football teams think that by them saying, yeah, take his name out the board. That wasn't them. That was God. God knew what he was doing because that was God playing all the time. That was God playing all the time. And God was preparing Shadur. God had already give this young man a premonition of what's going on. He had already gave him a vision. When he said, I dreamed 2 nights in a row. He had a dream 2 nights in a row. He playing football on a crystal floor with cleats on. So he can't even stand, he can't even grip, his shoes can't even grip the ground so he could get in position to throw the ball. He ain't got to shut up his naysayers. God doing it. God done already started doing it. God has already started doing it because Shadur got a praying daddy, a praying grandmama, and he got some praying aunties and uncles out there. So, is in the way that this young man is carrying himself, gentle, humble, meek, going out talking to the young kids in the school, and that's only making people love him the more. So whatever you're going through, just be still. Be still and let God do what God is going to do. Don't lose no hope. Don't give up on you. People give up on you all the time. People done gave up on me so many times. But it ain't about them. It ain't about them. It's about me. It's always going to be about me. And I'm going to do what I feel is best for me. And if God say go right, I'm going right. I don't care how bad I want to go left because it looks good over there. I'm going to go the way that God told me to go. Because what look good ain't always good. The grass may be greener in that other yard, but the lawn still got to be mowed. So it's some working keeping that yard looking the way that yard look. So where you are right now, and it may not be where you want to be. You may not even be doing the things that you want to do. And if you at a place that you want to be, sit down and have a little talk with Jesus. Tell him all your sorrows. Tell him where it hurts. Tell him where it's really painful. And just commune with God. Start having that conversation with God. And you'll start seeing God just start chipping some of that hardness away. And you start seeing things. Kurt Franklin has a song out, Brighter Days. It's gonna be a brighter day, brighter day. And Leandra say, what's that song she's saying? Better days are coming. Better days are coming. And I am so looking forward to them. Last night, the question was asked, when you come to church, what you come? I come with expectations. I expect some every time I go to church. I'm going with expectation. I'm expecting to get a word from God. I'm expecting to hear something from God. If it's through a song, if it's through somebody else giving their testimony, if it's through the teacher in the Sunday school, if it's through the pastor in the pulpit, I go with expectation. I go with expectation and put on your listening ears. Just don't hear, listen. Listen, and all the noise and all the racket that's going on, be still and know. Be still and know that God is not like man. He cannot, he will not, he shall not lie. And everything God has promised you, he has to fulfill it. However, there's something that you have to do as well. That's if you're in the way, get out of God way. Get out of God way. Move around. Get out of God way. Be still. If God tell you to shut up, and you one of those people that got to have that last word, shut up. Shut up. If you if you right now at the verge of losing hope, don't do it. Please don't do it. You're looking at the situation with the natural eye. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Just hang on in there a little while longer. Everything gonna be all right. God got you. God got you. But however, you cannot give up. You cannot become hopeless. You got to walk through it even though you're afraid. If you're afraid, keep going. I'm scared, but I'm still gonna do this. Because doing it scared, that's showing God I'm gonna have that mustard seed faith that you're talking about. I just got that mustard seed faith. So therefore, I'm just going to keep on walking, Lord. I'm going to keep on walking. And after a while, you into the light. You are into the marvelous light. You are in the marvelous light. So hold on just a little while longer. Don't lose hope. Be kind. Be gentle. Let go of that nasty attitude. Let go of those nasty thoughts. Stop gossiping. Stop backbiting. Stop being two-faced. Be the same. Be the same. Be gentle. Be meek. Be understanding. Be compassionate. It don't matter what people think. They could take your kindness for weakness. They could let them do that. But long as you know and they have they know how far just like the children, they know how far to go with you. They know right where that cutoff point at that right where that point out point that cut point is. They know where that is. They know what that is. They know how far to go. And then after a while, people will stop trying you when you start being consistent with your gentleness, with your understanding, with your compassionate. And don't when you're talking to somebody, listen. Don't just hear what they say. Listen at what they're saying. And then sometimes listen at what they're not saying. Listen at what they're not saying. And then you'll get a better understanding of what someone is going through on a day-to-day basis, because we don't know what people going through to make them behave the way that they behave. We don't know. So we just don't know because nobody know what we're going through on a day-to-day basis. So that's what I have for you today. That's all I got for you. Gentleness and listen. Be gentle and listen. So in the meantime, in between time, when you see me in them YouTube streets, holler at me. I holler back. And just for the day, put on your listening ears and put on the garment of gentleness and put on your listening ears and let's keep hope alive. I'm out. Deuces. And smile because you have a beautiful one. I'm a holler. And then you holler back.